Hi, I'm Melinda Iverson Inn, and some of you know me as a health dowser, crystal healer, and Reiki master. I have been an empath all of my life, and I didn't know it. While in my senior year of college, I was drawn to the spiritualist church because I would look around in my class, the classes I was taking in school, and I would see full body entities sitting in the chairs. I did not understand what was happening. And other things like that would happen to me where I would see things or I would feel things. And so the spiritualist church seemed to be a place where I could step in, and they accepted me, and I started taking student medium classes and giving readings in front of the congregation. This was where I began to understand a little bit more about my empathic nature and my ability to be clairvoyant. After graduation, I moved to a bigger city. I struggled for quite a bit at that time, but I knew I needed financial freedom, so I took a job in corporate America, basically, and it was not a great place for an empath. I struggled. However, financially, I did really well. I enjoyed traveling. I made more money than I could ever imagine. And then it happened. I was laid off. I was the first of 1,500 people that day. And I remember getting into my car and driving to my apartment, and my life had turned upside down. What was I going to do? And yet, while I was crying, my shoulders were dropping. This was meant to be somehow. After I kind of driving and I felt my shoulders dropping a bit and I'm more relaxed and I'm crying at the same time. It was a really, really confusing time. And I realized I get home and I'm saying to myself, I don't have a job anymore, but I feel better. It was really difficult to understand how to reconcile those two sets of emotions. And what happened was I ended up sort of falling into a depression, not understanding how to deal with it. At that time, I felt really abandoned by God. I had lost my sense of identity. I lost my faith. It was really difficult for me to sit with that for a while. That was a very difficult time for me because I was judging myself so harshly. I felt like I was a failure, basically. And I was in that space really suffering for a couple of years. So after that 2-year period, I began to seek spiritual and metaphysical help. I felt like I was starting to heal, and I would read books and I would meditate more. I had been meditating, but this was like meditating a lot. And I decided I needed to get hugs from Amma. And I would repeatedly go back to the ashram for more than one hug. I think I got 5 in a row. She was always there to help, and I found solace in that, doing that. And here's something from Seeds of Awakening by Peter Russell. He says, "We simply need to let go of any attachments of how things should or shouldn't be. Let the attention soften and relax." So as I began this spiritual journey of reading books and getting hugs and meditating more, nature, I began to notice in nature the heart openings, the love. I witnessed a hummingbird fly into the window and knock itself out, and my heart just sunk. And I left it there. I just watched it. And then suddenly, well, not necessarily suddenly, it took a little while, but then it sort of shook itself awake and then flew off. And that touched me deeply. And I began to notice on my nature walks that I would see rocks in the shape of hearts. It was just ridiculous how many I found. I would look down and there would be a heart-shaped rock. Everywhere I looked, this love from nature was beginning to surround me and envelop me. And I'm reading, and I remember reading something very important in one of P.M.H. Atwater's books. They had been doing experiments on the wavelengths of emotion, and when they observed this, they found that all of the wavelengths from the emotion of love produce the same configuration, which is the golden mean. So, and this love configuration is found in beautiful nautilus shells, animal bodies, sunflowers, in our DNA, and even in our molecules. So I began to see God as this perfect mathematician and artist. So finding my way back to this path of remembering and knowing, what it was to be loved, what it was to be here and experience that love. And I felt like I needed something to bring me even further into that path. And dowsing became a modality for me to start with. And I began my dowsing there. And I really wanted to focus on health because I felt like my emotional, my mental health, and my physical health were very important to me. And so that became the main focus of my dowsing career. when we become sad or lonely or depressed, there's a way for us to come out of that. We just have to look up and see the magnificence around us. Lift our chin, lift our chin to God. And we're a part of the magnificence of that. And so how do we experience that? We can take a deep breath and we can let ourselves recognize that in that moment, we do not have to carry the weight of the world with us, that is God's job. We can let Him do the heavy lifting, her, source, do the heavy lifting, and we can just relax into the knowing that we're loved. When we can bring in that love that is so available, almost like capturing it, like you're looking for a butterfly, right? But you wouldn't capture it really. But you see it and you bring it in. You're harnessing that energy of love that's available to us 24/7. When we can bring that energy of love in, that allows us the opportunity to relax. And when we relax, we become better co-creators. And when we're better co-creators, we have something that's so magnificent that we can offer the world. Even if it's the tiniest little thing that you think it's going to make a difference. As Amma would say, just light your candle and step forward. That's all you have to do. So basically, the only purpose we have in life is to be love. And living in that pure spirit allows us this opportunity to feel that love from God. And with that comes protection. The protection comes from knowing that God Source, He, She, is always there for us.